Shalom, today's March 6th, and we're in day 517 days of the war in Israel. The newspaper is focusing on the peak in tension in the government, and it reads here, Hamatara, the goal, or the target, Hadacha, the dismissal. And this is the Minister of Justice, Yariv Levin, that is wanting to fire the Attorney General Gali Baharav-Miara. We'll open up and read a few more details soon, and here we are on the top. Hamatkal Shel Zamir, the new staff of Zamir. Ayal Zamir is the new Chief of Staff of the IDF, and he is creating a new staff around him, firing many and recruiting new ones, and Israel is happy about that. In continuation to that, here's a cartoon with Ayal Zamir, the new Chief of Staff, in Hebrew say Ramatkal, on the boxing stage with a Hamas terrorist saying, hey, I'm still standing, yeah, and he's all bloody and weak. And Zamir is the new Chief of Staff that's coming in and changing the game. Down here, the opinion article of Sheli Yachimovich, who is a well-known journalist in Israel. She writes, Kama pashut, how simple, Adam ra'ui latafkid, a man worthy of his calling, of his job. He has no records against him. He has the excellent characteristics that a Chief of Staff needs. He is full of personal and professional experience. She says that's not taken for granted in these days in Israel. And Israel is, basically very happy and glad for Ayal Zamir to be the new Chief of Staff of the IDF. But back to the legal tension in the government, it reads here, Hahadacha, the dismissal, yotzet laderech. The process of dismissal or the firing is on its way. The battle against the Attorney General Gali Baharav-Miara in the government has reached a peak. Hasarim, the ministers, called in an urgent meeting in order to vote for her firing. In a dramatic move, it says, the Minister of Justice, Levin, turned to the Secretary of the government to have an urgent meeting, an urgent vote for dismissing Gali Baharav-Miara, the Attorney General. Officials say that Yariv Levin is trying to speed up the process because Baharav-Miara is for the draft law, asking everybody, including the ultra-Orthodox, to be enlisted into the military. He's against that. She's fighting for it, and also she's very much against Benjamin Netanyahu, and he wants someone else to have a fresh look over the legal cases of Benjamin Netanyahu. It seems more personal than professional. This is very dramatic in Israel. The radio this morning is full of interviews about this discussion, so it seems like the war has kind of been pushed aside a little bit because of the dead end between Hamas and the mediators in Israel and the hostages. There's somewhat of a pause and a dead end, and this has come up to the front lines as we see. It's the main article here in the newspaper. I haven't understood clearly what is the real reason to fire Baharav-Miara, unless really it's personal, because as an Attorney General, she is there to protect the government in the name of justice, to protect the country in the name of justice. She is not maybe easy to get along with, maybe. It says hard to cooperate with her. But is that a reason to fire someone when she's maybe doing her job and she's not just a doormat? She's actually doing her job and maybe quite well? What do you think? We'd like to hear it in your comments. Next, Ayal Zamir, the new Chief of Staff of the IDF of Israel, נכנס לתפקיד ומתחיל לעבוד. He enters his job and he starts working. And it was yesterday, it was the first day of his job as Chief of Staff. New battalions, פירוק אגפים, he's dismantling different wings of the IDF, and he's recruiting new senior commands in the key staff of the IDF. One of them is Yaniv Ashur, a general, Yaniv Ashur, that he will be the commander of the South Command of Israel. That means Gaza and the rest of the South. It says here in the box, what are his former jobs in the IDF, what is his education, and that he's married, and he's a father of 4 children. Next is Brigade General Itzikon. He'll be promoted to Major General, and he will be the head of all of the operational wing of the IDF. Also here, it says that what are his former jobs in the IDF, his education. They have masters from Israel, and he's also married and a father of 4. And here's Ayal Zamir, Chief of Staff Zamir, etmol, yesterday, also a father of 4. חילופי הרמטכ"ל בצה"ל, the changes of the Chief of Staff in the IDF. נמשיך במשימה להחזרת חטופינו ולהכרעה. We will continue in our mission to bring back our hostages and to a final say in this war. And it reads that in a very modest ceremony yesterday in Tel Aviv, in the military base called the Kiryah, on work uniform, Madei Bet, it's called uniform B, because it's not the A one, it's not the representative one. And this is during a very fragile ceasefire with Hamas. Yesterday, Ayal Zamir enters his job as the 24th Chief of Staff of Israel. It reads here, the Ramatkal Hayotze, the leaving Chief of Staff, Herzi Halevi, says, in the name of responsibility, I am ending my job. I'll read it in Hebrew. Beshem ha'achrayut, ani mesayem et tafkidi. And in his speech in the ceremony, he calls the new Chief of Staff to put in front of his eyes October 7th, when he goes down and when he wakes up, October 7th. And here are main points of Herzi Halevi's ex-Chief of Staff, former Chief of Staff speech yesterday. Next headline, Yaheli Gur, 17 years old, was killed in the terror attack in Karkur, which is center north of Israel, 6 days after the terrorist from Wadi Ara that was illegally staying in Israel. He ran over a bunch of people in Somet Karkur, in the Karkur Junction in Israel, and Yaheli Gur was severely injured, and yesterday, 6 days later, her death was determined. The head of the municipality says it was a horrible and cruel murder of an innocent girl, that her biggest sin is that she was Jewish, living in her own land. The terrorist was 53 years old, and he ran over 14 people in a bus stop, and then continued for 4 other kilometers, and just continued to run over people. And finally, he was killed by cops in the area. Many were injured, but Yeheli is the only one that was killed. Ahava shel ima, the love of a mother. And this is dedicated for the Women's Day, the International Women's Day 2025. Yom Ha'isha in Hebrew, Women's Day. So Ahava shel ima, love of a mother. A year and 5 months have passed since their last hug with their sons. These are 6 mothers that are still waiting for the good news of entering the second stage of the hostage release deal, in which their sons will be coming back alive, and some of them did. These mothers are sharing about their heavy longing that's increasing every day, and it's turning to a physical pain that nobody really can understand. No one, chutz me'ima, except for a mother. Here's Meirav and Dalit, Galia, again Meirav, Anat, and Vicky, and each one of them has the stories about their sons. Many of these sons like Matan from captivity, the two friends, Guy and Evyatar, that watched a release ceremony in Gaza, but were still captive and not allowed to be released. These are their mothers. And Meirav and Dalit are mothers of soldiers that are dead and still held in captivity of Hamas. I'll bring you a quote of Anat Engrest, the mother of Matan Engrest. Here he is, documented in captivity, bruised. Here's Matan before being captive. And he was kidnapped from the tank he was on, and he's still in captivity, of course. And they asked her what it is to be a mother of a soldier, and she says, well, first of all, it is to miss him, to long to see him. She says, it is to wait for the weekends when he comes home with uniform on him, and he brings with him a lot of light. Matan immediately went out to the gym with his father, and he would go out and play with his siblings, Adi and Ophir. And when he's at home, the mangal, the barbecue, would work extra hours, she says. But since he's not with us, we do not do family meals anymore. Everything has changed. Everything is harder. Hakol kashe yater. Everything is harder. And Vicky, Nimrod's mom, says every mother is in a different battle. We all have something in common. We are battling for the return of our sons, but we're working in different fronts. We're cooperating, yet different. So we pray for them, because when we pray for hostages, we don't always realize the heaviness of the burden on the families and the friends and the mothers. And it's real. It's really, really real. So continue to pray for the hostage for Israel, for the families, for this deal, for justice to happen, for wisdom, for the new Chief of Staff, and grace of God in the government of Israel as things are constantly changing. Thank you for standing with us and watching us. If you like this video, please share it with your family and friends and people that you know. For more news that matters, go to allisrael.com, and you can follow us on our social media. This is Rotem Magen for All Israel News.